very good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for joining us for this edition of Channel 1 Lunchtime News. Here are the latest we have for you. My name is Edward Kabasa. Learning has been interrupted in more than 10 schools in Kajiado County as floods continue to wreak havoc across the country. A number of affected schools have been closed down as the Ministry of Education takes caution on the safety of learners.
As the heavy downpour continues to pound various parts of the country, leaving a trail of destruction and loss of property in its wake, hundreds of students in Kajiado County are yet to resume school for second term after more than 10 schools in the area were temporarily closed down due to floods.
Mafuriko mengi yameathiri masomo kwa njia ya wanafunzi kuweza kwenda shule kila siku. Siku kuna mvua na mafuriko mengi, wanafunzi wanapata kuketi nyumbani na wazazi ili wasiweze kupotesha maisha yao kiholela.
The schools have been marooned by flood waters and a number of bridges have been swept away in the county.
Maagizo yametoka katika wizara, yale tumeweza kupeana kwa viongozi wa shule, wale ambao wasimamizi wa shule, tukiwaomba kwamba wakiona mafuriko ni mengi waulize watoto wasikuje kupita mito ambaye yanahatarisha maisha yao.
Isinya District Education Officer Elizabeth Otieno noted that most schools' latrines have been toppled by water, posing a health danger to the pupils. Otieno says learning in most schools in the county have been affected and 5 have been temporarily closed in Kajiado West Sub-County. This comes as the Kenya Meteorological Department wants Kenya to brace for flash floods as heavy downpour is expected to pound in most parts of the country. The advisory is further advising Kenyans in flood-prone regions to move to higher grounds for safety. Linus Moshigadi for Channel 1 News.
Thank you very much, Linus, for that update. Ethiopia Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has lauded President Uhuru Kenyatta's mentorship program, saying it was a noble idea that deserved to be emulated by other African leaders. Speaking after meeting those undergoing the mentorship program, Abiy said Africa has faced a myriad of challenges after failing to mold future leaders who would continue with the vision of the founding fathers. He challenged the beneficiaries to be patriotic and work hard to rise to leadership positions in future.
Yeah? And make sure wherever you go, you ask a lot of questions.
The Ethiopian leader, who was on a state visit to Kenya, and his host, President Uhuru Kenyatta, had dropped in at the residence of students undergoing mentorship program courtesy of State House. Abiy saying he was impressed by President Kenyatta's program, saying it was a noble idea that deserved to be emulated by other African leaders. The Ethiopian Prime Minister lauded President Kenyatta for coming up with a program, saying it would go a long way to develop leaders who would mature and continue with the good work of building a strong nation. He said Africa has faced a myriad of challenges due to lack of mentoring leaders who would continue with the foundation set by the founding fathers. He challenged other African leaders to invest in mentorship programs which would be used to raise competent leaders who would carry on with the vision of integrating Africa.
If existing leaders couldn't invest on emerging like you, what my brother is doing here is amazing, man. It's a miraculous job. Nobody's doing in Africa. You guys are lucky. If existing leaders have a big heart to invest on the next generation, on emerging, Africa will continue. The problem we have in Africa is all existing leaders, they don't appreciate those who are exiting. That means history. They don't also want to invest on emerging like you guys. Then Mr. X started something. When Mr. Y comes, he forgot that and he started over. So they're the foundation, but we couldn't see a building. To build a house, if someone build a foundation, and the next person must add another new blockets so as to see the house be finished. So in Africa, we have to connect both yesterday, today, and tomorrow, so as to realize this vision. Our dear brother is doing an amazing job. He is investing on you. I hope we will have many leaders out of this.
President Kenyatta, who was present, challenged the students to work hard and achieve the best in whatever field they might be involved in, saying that it is part of nation building.
Do your best. Whatever you become, yeah, make the best out of it. Be you president, be you prime minister, be you engineer, be you teacher, yeah, just be the best teacher, the best president, the best prime minister, the best minister, the best accountant, yeah? And that way you serve your country and you serve future generations.
Besides mentoring the students on the need for hard work and choosing their careers wisely, the program cultivates leadership skills and gives the beneficiaries an opportunity to share experiences on national values such as integration and ethnic harmony in diversity.
Opposition leader Raila Odinga is at this moment chairing ODM's National Executive Council retreat in Naivasha. Raila is expected to brief the party on the progress of the Building Bridges initiative born out of his handshake with President Uhuru Kenyatta. Also on the agenda is ODM's revamp strategy as the party seeks to strengthen its grassroots support across the country. ODM's top governing organ is meeting in Naivasha weeks after its truce with the Jubilee Party. The retreat is a first for ODM since the handshake, where Raila is expected to deliver a status report on the Building Bridges initiative. ODM has already expressed its unwavering support for the initiative, despite there being some opposition to the list of 14 advisors appointed to oversee the peace process.
As a party, we have made it very clear that we are not going to engage in 2022 politics. There are far more important and bigger issues, as were identified by our party leader Raila Odinga and his counterpart in Jubilee, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta.
Also on the agenda is how the party will mobilize grassroots support going forward. And in other matters, stakeholders in the war against terrorism are calling for stringent laws to revamp or stamp, I beg your pardon, out illegal trade that remains a major source of funding for terrorism groups. National Counter-Terrorism Center Director Ambassador Martin Kimani urged governments to work together to dismantle illegal trade if the war against terrorism is to be won. He says countries have made major strides in containing terror activities, but emphasized there is still much to be done to ensure that terrorism groups do not access funding for their activities. Kimani was speaking in Nairobi during the opening of the 4th Regional Nexus meeting sponsored by the Global Counter-Terrorism Forum.
As we tighten up the channels within the formal financial sector against the financing of terrorism, the key to terrorist financing and finances is in their holding of territory. But once terrorist groups have possession or control of territory, by definition, they're able to tax, they're able to undertake criminal activities from smuggling of goods, drugs, etc., to be able to fund their operations. So that basically means, the very simple conclusion is that we cannot allow terrorist groups to hold or to control territory.
The root causes of radicalization are similar in different regions. Youngsters that have no access to jobs, socioeconomic challenges such as unemployment, a low standard of education and limited opportunities for a better future have made people more vulnerable to propaganda from extremist groups. Combined with experience of discrimination and exclusion, supporters of terrorist groups felt alienated from society and were drawn to these alternative futures.
Terrorist organizations like Al-Shabaab continue to target our people with a limited degree of success, but we have become far more effective at investigating, at detecting, at disrupting their plots. And I want, in that regard, to really commend
authorities in Nyandarua County have destroyed a consignment of second-generation liquor and bang as the government intensifies the war on sale and consumption of illicit brew. Central Regional Coordinator Wilson Njenga says the government remains committed to eradicate the vice in central Kenya amid fears that it is slowly creeping back.
It has been a band that appears to have refused to go away despite numerous efforts to slay the ghost of illicit brews. Authorities in central Kenya renewing the war against second-generation liquor after the first initiative that was ordered by President Uhuru Kenyatta recorded commendable gains. Speaking during the launch of the exercise at Ruri village in Nyandarua County, Central Regional Coordinator Wilson Njenga issued a stern warning to brewers and distributors of illicit brews, saying their days are numbered.
Ile katiba tulipitisha licensing ya alcohol tuliweka kudevolve kwa county government ili tuhakikishe kwamba tunaweka program mzuri ya kuimaliza hii vita dhidi ya pombe haramu. Mnaona watu wakati tunamwaga watu wanaona. Sijui kama mnaona ni nini hiyo tunamwaga. Hiyo ni pombe ya binadamu ama ni chafu.
The warning coming as he led an operation that saw cartons of second-generation liquor and bang destroyed amid caution to chiefs and their assistants that they risk losing their jobs if they fail to eradicate the vice in their respective jurisdiction.
Tuko na wengine wanaanza kusema kwao hakuna. Na tumesema mzuri kama serikali kwamba kama wewe ni assistant chief na kwako unasema hakuna na tunje tuipate. Sasa wewe tunaambia wewe kwa heri, si ndio? Kwa sababu wewe sasa tuwezi kutegemea wewe. Na tulisema vile tulitangaza wakati nilikuja hapa. Mwezi mmoja umepita. Kwamba zile area zitabaki na hii pombe tutachukua hatua.
We are going to be felt. We are going to minimize, if not completely eradicate, the issue of alcohol. This is something that is really ruining our youth. And as a mother, when I sit in that department that is in charge of issues to do with alcohol, it pains me when I witness what I witness every morning.
For Lunchtime News, I'm Kaltun Jama.
And in other matters, the family in Embu is seeking justice after their daughter and grandson were allegedly murdered by a police officer. The family says their attempts to serve the officer in question to face the law have been futile, as no case has been filed against him despite being arrested. The family is questioning why it has taken so long for the police to recover the remains of the bodies, which the suspect is said to have disposed of in a pit latrine close to a year ago.
The family to the late Pauline Kagendo is yet to come to terms to the alleged brutal murder of their daughter and her son almost a year ago. The family claims the late Pauline and her son were allegedly murdered by a General Service Unit officer in what they claim was an act of love gone sour.
Sababu kijana alisema hata wa msichana ambao anjasoma. Na mamake akasema kwake hakutaolewa msichana ambao hajasoma. Kwa hivyo ule kijana aliona ni vizuri auwe ule msichana ndiye ampe nafasi ya kuwa msichana ambao amesoma.
The lady who was then in Form 1 was impregnated by the officer and she gave birth to a baby boy, but the relationship turned rocky later.
Mtoto alipotea tarehe 10 mwezi wa 6. Nilimaliza mwezi mmoja, nikaona ni vizuri niende niripoti mtoto wangu amepotea, wanisaidie kutafuta. Nilipowaambia hivyo, waliniitisha namba ya simu ya ule kijana alienda na msichana yangu. Nikawapatia.
The bodies of the lady and her son were said to have been discovered in a pit latrine almost 10 months, but since then, police are yet to retrieve them.
Msichana akiuliwa, ule dadake alikuwa pale. Na akaambiwa na bradhake, hii maneno ukiongea pia nitakuja kukuua. Serikali wanisaidie waingilie haya maneno, sababu mimi sina uwezo, sina nguvu, na ya kwamba mtoto nina haki aliuawa.
According to Mbeere North, head of Directorate Criminal Investigation, Richard Madenge, plans are underway to remove the remains from the pit latrine before opening a case on the same. The latest incident adds to worrying statistics of family-sides in the country. Irene Mchuma Odim, The Lunchtime News.
Thank you very much, Irene, for that report. Farmers in Busia have been challenged to grow indigenous fruits to help curb malnutrition among children under the age of 5 in the county. The Kenya Agricultural Research Organization claims cases of malnutrition in the county can be cured by the wild fruits and readily available in the locality if the community embraces such crops.
The Kenya Agriculture Research Organization wants to change the tide in Busia by assisting local communities adopt indigenous crops that can provide the much-needed vitamins to fight malnutrition in the border county. Speaking when he distributed over 1,000 assorted seedlings, Calro Director Victor Wasike said there was need to create awareness to farmers on the need to grow plants that are rich in vitamins, which can do very well in the region, yet ignored by locals. The County Executive for Agriculture, Osia Mwaje, urged youth to take up the growing of gooseberries and jackfruits, which can be consumed locally and exported.
Nutrition is very important within the first 1,000-day window. For 100 people, 26 of them, they don't get their nutrient needs for a human being.
Naomba mpande gooseberry. Maanake gooseberry chukua miezi ngapi? 3 peke yake. Inakuwa mature, una harvest, unapeleka sokoni. Unafanya multiplication kwa kila site in every sub county, all the way from Bunyala mpaka kule Kisongo, so that you can minimize the cost of production.
And I think it's a very good idea. I have taken some wild fruits before, and they are really tasty. Councillors of defunct local governments are faulting MPs for failing to push the government to pay them a send-off package inclusive of a monthly allowance. The more than 12,000 civic leaders are accusing the legislators of ignoring their plight despite their role in shaping the country's political landscape. Their pleas better told by 59-year-old former civic leader Njoroge Mwangi, who is now petitioning the National Assembly to sanction the government to pay them what they claim is owed to them.
Along the slopes of Kembogo Hills in Gilgil Sub-County is the Shrabi Makonga village, home to peasant farmers, among them 59-year-old former civic leader Njoroge Mwangi. And as Mwangi recounts his heydays as a civic leader, it's obvious that he's now a shadow of his former self.
Matipati ilikuja tukawa katika Ford ile ilikuwa ya umoja wa kina Odinga mzee. Tulipigana mpaka nikafika kiwango cha kuchaguliwa diwani huko Eldoret.
Mwangi shares with us his photos from an album, one of his prized possessions that is proof of his unwavering commitment while in public service at the height of multi-party system in 1992.
Nimefanyia serikali kazi na raia wa Kenya. Na vile niwafanyia malipo ni kicheko, kwa sababu saa hii wanakulia matunda yale tulipigania sisi tukiwa multipartyism. Wanakula na kukunywa wakati huo tulikuwa tunachapwa.
They are photos from his days as a ward representative for Market Ward in Eldoret. He laments despite his contribution to the country's political landscape, the government has since forsaken him and other leaders of defunct local governments who now wallow in poverty, so much so that he's forced to rely on well-wishers to survive. Mwangi is among the 1,200 former councillors petitioning the National Assembly to sanction the government to pay them a send-off package of 1.5 million shillings each, and with a recommendation of the Labour Committee in the Senate demanding another 30,000 shillings each as a monthly stipend to enable them to cope with the rising cost of living.
Toka bunge la taifa na Senate waone maisha yale tunakaa. Na wao wanakula na kukunywa, na wafikirie vile watanisaidia na watasaidia.
The cast that gained traction in 2016, following a retreat by the councillors, however, demanded that those who served their full terms before the advent of devolution from 1963 to 2013 be entitled to the benefit. Parliament, however, proposed the retirement package be fitted by the government going back to 4 decades only. But as he awaits the outcome of his petition, he in the meantime is tilling his land to fend for his family.
You are watching Channel 1 Lunchtime News. A quick break here, don't go too far.
Every 4 minutes is a chance for you to win big with Mega Dollar. Just go to Lipa na M-Pesa, enter paybill number 295888, account name KBC, and amount from 10 shillings or more. Then select your 10 numbers from 1 to 80 and send to 29588. You can win up to 30 million shillings. Start playing now and win. Mega Dollar. Big winners every 4 minutes.
Doctors seldom know why one woman develops breast cancer and another one doesn't. But for the following women, so different yet so much alike, cancer came calling.
Tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8 nikachinjwa. Nina mtoto mmoja na hiyo mtoto yangu naye alipotelea tu kwa mraa za dunia. Sasa hata mimi pile nilikaa hospitali hata sikuona mtu wa kunikuja kuniangalia, nilikuwa tu nakuja kuangaliwa na marafiki. Karudi nyumbani.
If you continue to hurt my family, something bad will happen. Shut up now, or I'll shoot you. I'll kill you and your little friend.
Everything has been prepared.
Everything?
Yes, what we talked about earlier. You wanted me to help you with Milady's father, isn't it?
So listen up very well. If you two want my help in getting rid of little Elena, you'll have to give me a little part of your big fat inheritances.
Monte Cristo, I know that you're involved in all of this.
Vote for KBC Channel 1 as your favorite TV station for the Kuza Broadcasting Awards 2018. SMS the word Kuza to 15601. It's absolutely free. Voting ends on 9th May. Vote, vote, vote.
Welcome back. A section of officials from the Kenya National Union of Teachers from the Nyanza region have come to the defense of the embattled NAT Secretary General Wilson Sossion. The officials claim those trying to kick out Sossion are acting in bad faith and that he should be given more time to deliver on the issues facing teachers. The officials want the union to convene a special annual delegates conference in June this year to address the leadership wrangles.
We categorically warn the NEC members who have plotted a coup against our secretary, our beloved Secretary General, to refrain unconditionally and leave Sossion to work for us. Our teachers have got urgent issues that need to be addressed. We need Sossion to address the issue of promotion of teachers to higher grades. That's the current issue which our teachers want, not the wrangles. Apart from promotion of teachers, there are issues of TPAD and the NEMIS, whereby our teachers have become clericals in offices. Teachers are working between the cyber, the school, and the education offices, filling forms which are not adding value to the educational standards of our schools and our country. Solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong.
And across our borders, more than 1,000 Boko Haram captives in Borno State, northeastern Nigeria, have been rescued by the Nigerian army. The hostages, mainly consisting of women and children, as well as some young men, had been forced to become Boko Haram fighters.
After declaring in 2015 that the extremist group Boko Haram had been defeated, an apparent abduction of 1,000 women and young men who had been forced to become Boko Haram fighters has revived painful memories of an infamous 2014 kidnapping. The captives were saved following an operation which was conducted by Cameroonian and Nigerian troops under the Multinational Joint Task Force. They were mainly abducted from Malamkari, Amchaka, Walasa and Gora villages of the Bama local government area.